same way all fantasy has a dragon and has a wizard, it also has a little freaky guy who loves a magic object.
Who smells bad and wants to steal the thing.
Which, you know, little freaky guys are maybe a hallmark of the genre.
Welcome back to Seeker and Confessor, a Sword of Truth podcast. My name is Frank.
And I'm Lauren.
And today we're covering Chapter 30 of Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind.
Well, no more politics, right?
Well, you know, I'm gonna have some politics, I feel like, by the time I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And they're all extremist.
Really, political philosophy is going to come into this.
That or something that I can't say on here because it's going to be so violent.
I think we both had a poor reaction to this chapter.
It's been 3 in a row, and this one, they just keep getting worse for me.
Is that true? Well,
yeah.
Okay, this was, for me, this was the height of cringe that I've ever experienced so far.
In this book, or like maybe in your life?
In this book, I would say.
Yeah,
I was cringing.
I don't know how you do this. I don't even know how you write it down at all and then like burn it, much less publish it.
I mean, so we have somebody new at the table today with all our little doodads and whatever.
Yeah.
It's weird because it's like, I'm confused. Like, I bought this so long ago and I don't remember if it was a Sword of Truth figure or a Lord of the Rings figure. I can't remember. Is that Samuel?
That's clearly Samuel, yeah. You can tell by the pallid skin and the long arms and
you think
the large eyes.
Oh my god, I can't remember. You think that's Samuel?
I think that's Samuel.
Oh, I've had the Samuel figurine for so long.
Yeah, it's one of the only official merches from the original run of Sword of Truth.
They were just so taken with the character of Samuel.
Yeah,
they had to put him into...
You know, Richard and Kahlan have a certain originality, but also they're clearly drawing on other things.
Yeah.
Samuel, however, is...
totally original.
It's from the font. Like, I don't know, he pulled this from the ether, and
I can't imagine where he came up with it.
Any of the ideas of it, you know? This is plagiarism.
Like, literally?
This is like, he should be arrested.
The Tolkien estate really should have
come
sued
for his
this
ass.
man.
Yeah, no, there's no... It's not even... I don't
it's
know.
Not
how can you
funny.
do it? Like,
it's
how can you do
literally
this? He wasn't making
insulting.
commentary. He was just, oh, I'm going to copy and paste that.
This is not homage.
This is not homage. This is not camp.
I wonder if Terry's ever spoken at all about Lord of the Rings. How is his ass going to come for the fantasy genre?
And then
also do that?
We got a lot of that going on, but this is the most egregious thing so far.
Yeah, I guess but I'm probably the most in the know with my Lord of the Rings knowledge, so maybe it is just as bad in other directions. I'm just unaware.
And I'm shocked, because I've seen a lot of people talk about the Wheel of Time and how he took ideas from them, but I've never seen anyone mention Samuel before.
Why is no one talking about Samuel?
Why is no one talking about Samuel?
Well, probably because he doesn't really matter much after this.
This is thievery.
But weirdly, why don't I remember caring about Samuel through my first read through?
I just think it's when you're going quick. This guy's probably around for 25 pages, and then he doesn't matter ever again.
No matter what, like no matter how quickly I was reading the book at this point in my life, I would have stopped short and said, what the actual fuck is this? But I did it.
You didn't, so why?
I think it's because I was so limited in my fantasy experience. I was like, I guess all fantasy books just need a little freak who's obsessed with a titular magic object.
They gotta have a funny little guy that just
tries to steal.
Just got corrupted by the main object.
All fantasy the same way all fantasy has a dragon and has a wizard, it also has a little freaky guy who loves a magic object.
Who smells bad and wants to steal the thing.
Which, you know, little freaky guys are maybe a hallmark of the genre, but they don't need to be. Like, I'm not, when I read Zed, I'm not like, oh my god, it is Gandalf, right? So you're fine with it.
I agree. Yeah, of course. You can do wizard in a million different ways. But if you just put him in a hat and had him go to the Shire, it would be like, or the
and
Dell.
say, like, his catchphrase,
Yeah.
you'd be like,
Fool of a toque, and there's no toques. Like, what's going on? Like...
Yeah. All right. Well, we should start. So we've left Princess Violet and Queen Melena.
And
Melena.
Rachel and
What?
Giller.
All the...
Left them in the dust for a little bit.
Although Rachel will come back briefly in this chapter.
Yeah.
We're back with Kahlan
Thrilling.
and Richard. So they've left the Mud Village, walked like many days, a week plus 3 days. That's really specific.
Did it say a week plus 3, or that was just 3?
No, they've been walking for about a week and 3 days.
That's extremely specific. Why not 10 days?
They were walking for 3 days with Savidlin and the Mud people, and then they were
It's been a
walking
week
for
since
like a
then.
week. Yeah, after that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we're getting a little bit of like map lore drop. Not really. I don't know. They're in the
One new place.
Rang Shada mountain range,
Cool.
which
Can't wait
runs.
for that to never come back.
Well, I'm curious. Like, how much do these things end up mattering?
I don't
long
think.
term?
I don't think at all. I don't remember ever having. I read like 17 of these books. I don't think the world really felt like much of anything.
Me neither. I don't remember it feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't read 17, but I don't remember.
They go walking and stuff, but
It's a mountain range. It runs northeast across the Midlands, and the Agadan Reach is like in those mountains, okay? Which is where Shota is. First, Richard and Kahlan are just talking while they're walking. Richard asks he's like, what was that thing that Darkenrahl was riding on? And Kahlan's like, it was a dragon. And then he's like, oh, dragons exist.
So it's been a week and 3 days.
Yeah, right.
Why
True.
do these two not
Yeah,
fucking
so
say
true.
one word to each other?
I don't know.
During commute.
What
Why
the
are
fuck?
we
What the
only
actual
here?
fuck have they talked about for a week?
That's what I'm trying to figure. That's why I was like, oh, it's only been 3 days and they had the mud
No.
people. Maybe no, it's been a week since they left. You've been alone for a week and you didn't go. Was that a dragon?
Well, wouldn't you be nonstop obsessively like going over every detail of what just happened in the Mud Village?
Yes, you would.
You'd be
Natural
like, okay,
human beings would.
So we were doing this, then they said he came, he said this, he was doing this. What does that mean? Like that would be honestly, you'd probably do that with the Mud people.
Yes.
Maybe I'll buy like because Savidlin's in his compromised emotional state. They didn't want to get into
you didn't
it.
want to get into it. Sure,
But they've been
whatever.
alone.
For a week.
I don't know if I have it
Kahlan?
backwards.
What?
But either way.
It doesn't matter.
Maybe
it doesn't
they were
matter.
with the
3
Mud-
days. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Any period of time alone. You
So
haven't
Richard's
discussed.
just been like
Hey,
walking like,
Kahlan.
I don't know when I should ask. Why should you not? There's no good reason.
And then this, for multiple reasons, and we'll get into more of them as we go through this chapter, but Kahlan is the single worst guide to the Midlands
Yeah, so
imaginable. Cue him into these things. Dragons exist. He doesn't know it, and you didn't even like give him the
seems
bestiary.
like she's like surprised. But why would you not just be like nonstop at night? You guys are setting up camp. Like, okay, what animals exist in your world? What animals don't exist here?
What are your
plants? What
preconceptions
this?
about- yeah,
Wouldn't that
exactly.
be everything you talk about?
He fucking can't eat red fruit here. Like, what else is gonna kill him immediately?
Like, I'm a better guide of New York City for like a very casual visit than Kahlan is for the Midlands
To which she is an
For-
ambassador.
for the purposes of making sure someone doesn't die for the end of the world.
Yes,
That's
correct. That's pretty bad.
like, I'm just casually going to give you more info.
You don't have a degree in this.
No, nor is anyone going to die if I don't tell them about
No.
like Rockefeller Center,
No,
you know?
but if they were, I think you'd be a little more prepared.
Well, I'd give them a lot of detail then.
This
So,
girl.
yeah, I don't know. Kahlan gives, like, we just get, like, a lore dump about how dragons function in this world. Richard says he's, like, surprised dragons are real. She's like, oh, I guess that makes sense. You wouldn't have them because they use magic to fly and you don't have magic. Like, yeah. Also,
Yes.
I mean, I guess they use magic to fly, but I'm like, do they have wings?
Well, yeah.
Do they need them if they use magic to fly?
I think they're just magical beings.
She said she didn't say they're magical beings. She said they use magic to fly.
I think she said, I think they use magic to
She
fly.
did say
meaning
that.
she's postulating how they fly. Must be magically.
Wouldn't you just assume it's the wings?
Probably, but maybe they're too heavy.
Do you think these people know things like that?
Why
even have the wings at that point?
They're just like fucking like bees, like like they're routing through the air like blimps. Like
if it's magic, why do they need wings?
Because it's cool. Because dragons have wings. That's the reason.
I'm just saying it seems evolutionarily. Why?
I don't know.
Just putting that out there. Anyway,
the world building once again suffers due to having no questions asked ever. So Terry said there's 3 types of dragons at least. Gray dragons, which are shy dragons, and some people have them as hunting pets.
Which cute.
Cool. We will never see that, but that sounds fun.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I fucking know. Why put it in if you're not going to do it?
We don't know for sure that there's never going to be one. Let us know in the comments.
I'm quite positive we never get a hunting dragon.
A gray pet dragon at some point.
Then you get green dragons, which are grumpier and might be dangerous to keep, so you don't.
Well, they have bad tempers and they're stupid.
Yes.
This is suspiciously similar to the Gar breakdown as well. What's up with, like, my magical species have 1 to 3 types, and they're increasingly dumber or smarter than one another.
Yeah.
It's like there's some... I can't think of a single example of that really, like, in nature.
In nature? Yeah, no, because there's not.
Well, there's, dogs have a range of, like, very stupid to very smart, but there's a huge...
gradient.
Yeah. For him, it's either, like, you're the dumb species or the smart species. That's it.
They got long tails, they're stupid. They got short tails, smart as hell. Watch out.
What does that mean?
Yeah. So the red ones are the smartest and act exactly like dragons in fantasy.
Yeah, and they're really, really smart.
They're the only ones that matter because they're the only ones that are going to be in this. So,
but Kahlan says that like the red ones totally could eat you and would if they come across
Richard's
you.
Like,
he does.
They eat people. It's like, yeah, dude, I don't know.
That is literally what he does. Like bears eat people. Why would dragons not?
Why would dragons not?
Anyway, that was a good imitation.
Thank you. Yeah, because he jammed his hands in his eyes.
Well, so then Kahlan's like, oh, but they probably don't because, like, we're not that much
food
meat.
Yeah.
They mostly eat, like, cows. And then she's like, well, this whole interaction, Richard's like, so should we be worried about the red dragons? And Kahlan's like, honestly, no, I don't think they really care about us that much. And then Richard was like, actually, psych, we did meet a red dragon and it was bad, so I should be worried. It's like, well, why'd you ask that?
I don't fucking know. And why was she so like, nah, it's not gonna be a problem?
No, it does. That makes sense because Kahlan is saying, I think Richard's being the fuckhead
the
here.
Wild type red dragon is not going to be a threat to us because they don't care about us.
Yes, most red dragons you're just going to come across, which is clearly what he's asking. He's not asking what happens if I come across the dragon Dark and Rawl's riding. Yeah, no shit, that one's a problem.
You're more worried about Dark and Rawl and not the
him
dragon.
Controlling the dragon. Yeah. So I feel like when he's asking that question, I would not assume he's asking about that dragon. He's saying in general.
Are they bad?
And she's like, no. And then he's like I said, say psych, because I just saw one who was bad. Like,
he just stunted on a whole village. What are you saying?
Why'd you ask?
That one dragon just swooped down and burned all the mud people. Did you forget?
Anyway, I don't know.
And she didn't, and then they cry a little.
But she's like basically wondering, she's like, yeah, but that actually doesn't make sense. I don't know why this dragon would be letting Dark and Rawl ride it.
Yeah.
Because they would rather like literally die than have a human controlling them. So, okay, that's a mystery we're setting up. Why? So what? I'm trying to remember, what did they say about the dragon in that chapter with Demon and Dark and Rawl when they were talking about it?
I think that she has to do what I say because of something. I don't know if they gave you the reason. I think it's that he stole the fucking eggs or something. I think it's that he has their babies.
So I was right.
Were you? What did you say?
I said somebody's got dragon eggs.
Oh.
In the first episode.
In the first episode?
Yes, when we were making guesses. But I didn't think it was this.
Oh, well.
But now I feel like you're saying dragon eggs because you, in your subconscious, remember me saying something about dragon eggs.
Maybe. I don't know. It's going to be something dumb.
But
and the fact that we even mentioned it here means 1-to-1. It will come back up.
I think that's an okay thing to mention, don't you?
Sure. And if you didn't have a habitual habit of always giving you the thing that you need to look for.
Well, he
in
does.
the next chapter probably.
Sure. I'm saying I feel like that felt normal to me.
Okay.
Normally dragons wouldn't do this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kaylin, that's finally Kaylin saying something that's important and makes
Agreed,
sense.
and then she might know.
Yeah. We're chatting, Richard and Kaylin here.
Hello there.
From up the way. Here
a
comes
miraculous stranger in their midst.
Here comes some big fat old man.
Oh boy, girl, how you doing?
I don't know if he talks like that.
Yeah, that's exactly how he talks.
He said his opening line is, "Didn't mean to give you a fright. It's just old John coming looking for the two of you."
Old John looking for the two of you.
Immediately, you're like, "Oh, that's weird." Right?
Yeah, no, I'm sus immediately.
Immediately, like,
Old John?
What?
What a clever name, Old John.
Old John?
Yeah. Capital old, too.
I mean, this is not me retroactively going, huh? No. Immediately I said, "Oh, old John's bad."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh. Old John can only be bad.
Here's a description: white beard, large round belly, dark brown robes. White hair parted down the middle, long curly eyebrows.
Yeah. So he's giving Fae monster.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
He's giving some sort of weird trickster. But Old John?
Old John?
It feels like an Adirondack tale. Like he stole it from his friend.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's like
it's not giving much for me.
It's some kind of skinwalker legend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just feels like a really basic take on a similar story.
Yeah.
That would have, like, these sorts of stories I feel like have to have all these like very weird elements to them, and he was like, it's just straightforward.
Stranger calls himself Old John, shows up, misleads them. Oh, we're cooking now,
right?
Yeah.
So Richard and Old John have a little convo.
Yep.
What do you mean you've been looking for us?
Mm-hmm.
My old friend the wizard sent me looking for you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm already pissed because I know where this is going. But
same. I literally could predict. Like, at this point, I knew exactly, like, what this conversation, what the trick was. And I, like, some part of me, my brain's like, oh, but maybe it's just because you've read this before. It's not. In this case, it's, like, not. This is just, again, though, when you're younger.
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it. Was I surprised that Old John was not good? I don't remember, but it wasn't the same feeling I'm having now where I'm like, okay, look, Richard said Zed's name. Okay, look, there, like, I got it.
Yeah. I'm just confused about Old John's powers of deception
yeah,
here.
no kidding. Well, why does Old John...
Why did he say the wizard?
Right, because I'm like,
how does he know that? Can he scoop surface thoughts?
Right, the implication is that he doesn't know Zed's name. Because Richard's about to say it, and that's part of the logic of how we figure this out. But if he doesn't know Zed's name, then I don't know why he would know there was a wizard to begin with. It either seems like you know both or you don't know it at all.
Also, a little, I know he's usually so tight with his writing, but no one in the Midlands is supposed to know Zed's name. So when you say Zed to someone in the Midlands, they're supposed to go, never heard of him.
Is that how it works? I can't fucking remember. Is Zed's his real name? Zed's not the fake name?
No, Zedagazul Zarander is the name everyone forgot.
But, like, I feel like Dark and Rawl was talking about it, and
he's never said Zed, I don't think. He said the old wizard.
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't remember.
I don't think it's consistent enough. That's the problem.
I don't remember to say if it is.
But either way, you should be suspicious of Old John.
Why?
I would be suspicious of Old John.
Okay, Terry thinks he took care of that. Okay, I know exactly what he thinks how he took care of this. For both of them.
Give it to me, though.
He gives them motivations for overlooking this.
Yep.
The motivation for Richard that we hear about actually
in his
15
mind.
times repeatedly is that Richard really wants to see Zed. So that's his motivation for choosing to believe old John.
What a fucking idiot for really wanting to see Zed. What a fucking fool. We'll get to that at the end when he fucking whatever. Keep going.
And then Kahlan's motivation is that she really doesn't want to go to Shota. So anything that shows up to divert them, she's like, do it. That's okay. He did attempt to offer explanation for why they just go along with this. I don't think they're good enough.
Not deft enough. It didn't happen quick enough. Like if it was like a momentary losing track of your mission, like if it just happened like, okay, let's do it, and then immediately an ambush was sprung and he's like, fuck, like this is what I get for falling off the path. But like you just like left, you're like, yeah, we'll walk a day out of the way. It's all right. We got time. They don't have time.
Well, okay, but he tries here. He tries to go, okay, we're going a day out of the way, but if Zed has the box of Orden, it obviously makes sense to check that first so I don't waste time doing something very dangerous for no reason. That kind of makes sense. It's more the tone of the thing. I would have even been okay with it if Richard was like, honestly, I don't know that I trust this man. I'm highly suspicious, but I'm kind of willing to like risk it anyway.
This is what I don't like about it, because it has this, when they're following old John, it has this Fae-like quality of like movement where you're being like swept up under the spirit of the power of this entity.
Yeah.
But then it's spun as, oh, I had the power of will and I just fucked up. And it's like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Either you're an idiot for trusting this man and just following him blindly and not quicker. Because like, even in his own mind, he's like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I'm ignoring something right now. And then it kept being like, whatever. Which is not like Richard.
All right, but so are you saying you think that's magically...
Yes.
I don't know that I thought that. I don't think I thought that. I think that it kept being like, I feel like Terry's like moral here was that Richard was letting how much he wants to see Zed get in the way.
I agree. That's Terry's moral, but it's not logical. I feel like he's trying to say that like this is what people do.
He is, but I don't think because giving it a magical mechanism takes away too much from that moral.
I agree. So don't use a magical
being. I don't
being.
think he... Well, yeah, but just because it's a magical being doesn't mean the magical being is literally using magic to convince you.
It just felt convenient. And the way it was written made me feel like there's some sort of like actual magic going on here.
I can't
instead
tell.
Of suggestion, which he keeps implying is real magic.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I really hate that. Either I need you to like double down on like Richard and Kahlan were literally getting like bamboozled
Spellbound.
magically.
Yeah.
And that could be interesting. But, and it still, the moral kind of still comes through if you're like, I still had the willpower of mind to override it.
Correct.
To some extent. But I think you're wrong because I think he would have doubled down on that if that were the case. I think he intentionally made it like, no, there is no magic. My dude just misses said so much that he's going to be a fool right now. And that's it.
Yeah, what an idiot. All right, so...
It makes no sense. I really, truly, especially Kahlan, at this point, the way you want me to... I mean, I know Kaylin's just, her characterization feels hella inconsistent, but if I'm leaning on the version of Kahlan that's supposed to be extremely intelligent, extremely capable, all of these things, there's no chance she wouldn't have questioned. Just question. Why couldn't they question it and do it anyway?
I don't know. She was mute this whole chapter.
She didn't say anything.
She was literally like, he was like, I'm not going to think about her internal monologue at all.
Not having emotions
Not a
now.
single thing. She's either the key chapter person, and then she's giving her emotional monologue the entire time, or like, if it's Richard, she's fucking silent. Like, she didn't have any thoughts.
I know.
She didn't speak, I don't feel like, besides like the dragon bit.
I think we were just supposed to take it as, oh, she's so afraid of going to Shota that she's like just silently doing what she's got to do.
Which on some level maybe makes sense.
Old John says, my old friend, the wizard, sent me looking for you. How does he know that they're friends with a wizard? I don't know.
Weird.
Zed. So then Richard says, Zed sent you. He said, how many old wizards do you know, my boy? Of course, old Zed. Which, like, immediately I'm like, I see.
Sounds like someone selling me something. Like, immediately.
Oh, he got the name. He's gonna. Okay.
How many old wizards do you know? You don't know. How did he know that you knew a wizard? And then when you hit him with Zed, how did you know he doesn't know more than one wizard?
Well, I guess
And
it's
he's
like,
just kind of
I think it's like the joke is like, clearly wizards are not of a high population, so he's just making a little joke.
So why did this man lead with, the old wizard sent me?
Well, because clearly we're supposed to think he somehow knows they have a connection to a wizard.
I would love to know how he knows
me
that.
too.
I'm sure we'll hear about it at some point.
We might get paragraphs of explanation. Yeah. We'll see.
That is how he knew that I knew a wizard named.
Yes,
oh, he didn't know his name,
exactly.
but he knew that I knew a wizard.
And Terry's like, see, isn't that exact? You just said you wanted me to explain it. That's why, you know. Zed had important business to attend to, but he really needs you. Richard says, why does he need me? And old John's just like, you ask too many questions. He doesn't know. I don't know why he needs you, but he's in a real hurry. And I didn't ask questions. I just came to get you. And yeah, old John does do this thing that you're going to be mad that I'm complimenting the chapter a little.
Uh-huh.
The only thing I thought was kind of interesting that I could have enjoyed if I liked other things would be that, like, old John does keep doing this social thing of sort of like insulting Richard and implying like, oh, you're being so annoying. Like, what's the big deal? Just fucking come with me. Like, stop asking questions.
Which
crazy
classic manipulation.
But people do fall for
and
that.
they fall for that.
Like,
absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah, no, you
It's
can manipulate
really,
people easy by doing that.
Yeah, it's really hard socially to like not do, like, I feel like I've even, you know, when you're like getting salesed, you know, a salesman is like coming at you and they do things like that. Like, oh, like what, like, why are you asking that? Or like,
you're here for a car. You're gonna waffle on $2,000, and it's like,
and you're like, oh yeah, maybe I'm being so rude. Am I being rude? I guess I'll stop.
Am I being cheap? Am I being instead of being like, no, I didn't want it.
Right.
Leave me alone.
So like Richard is kind of falling for that. I didn't hate that. Like, I thought that was something. If everything else felt like it was written better, I think I would have liked. I could have enjoyed that part, but
yeah. Are you referring to Samuel?
This even without Samuel.
I know. It was already like,
was not great.
Like mid to low tier, and then it just fell through the
Samuel
toilet.
really put me over the edge.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because like Richard then says, he's like, oh, okay, well, where is he? How far is it to get there? That he's like, depends how long you plan on standing there wagging your tongue, like as if, you know, like
you're wasting time now.
Yeah, that kind of thing does kind of work.
Yeah.
On people. So anyway, so Richard gets all excited. Kahlan gave him one of her special tight-lipped smiles as they followed.
Can I get that? Oh man.
Is it special?
Sexy. So.
Whew. I gotta go. Okay. First, Richard has brought up that Kahlan gives him special smiles. Are they always tight-lipped?
I don't think so.
That sounds weird. And then if it is a tight-lipped smile, which is different than the special smiles, why is this a special tight-lipped smile? What makes it so special?
She's smiling at him. That's what's special.
Well, anyway, I thought two things. I was like, is this... Does that imply maybe she's nervous about this? Because bitch doesn't say anything.
Not a single word to old John.
She just seems to be like, okay. Which I think she's just angry about the fact that they're doing any of this. She didn't want to go to the Agadan Reach.
This bitch didn't want to do a lot of things required of her to save the world.
I mean, like, understandable.
Yeah, but you gotta do it.
She doesn't have to.
You could just die. You're right.
Yeah, she doesn't have to.
That's true.
A lot of people wouldn't.
I guess you could do it and be curmudgeonly about it too. That's fine.
Right. Just like the Mud Girls. That was the conclusion she came to. I can let Richard do it, and I don't have to be happy about it. I can be a little bitch.
That's true. That seems to be her vibe.
So Richard just like keeps internally thinking about how excited he is to see Zed. Mm-hmm. They end up in like a part of the woods that's thicker and darker, and the trail is rocky, and they're struggling to keep up with old John.
Old John's fucking fat, but he's hustling.
Yeah. And there's a fork in the road.
Used to call him J-Star in high school. He hit the track like a motherfucker.
Old John?
Old John. Well, he was young John then.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're at the fork, and Richard is like, that's when Richard finally starts to be like, I feel a little weird about something. Like I said, I would have bought the whole journey just on, I'm going to hold on to my sword. If he gives me weird vibes, I'm going to kill him and leave. But like, let's just see. Maybe Zed's there. What the fuck do I know? But he doesn't. My man gets like miles into the woods before he even questions, hey, maybe
this motherfucker's taking me for a ride.
Maybe he could be lying. Maybe he could be
so
lying.
Kahlan doesn't know about these creatures. She's not like on high alert for woods trickers. You are next door to the witch woman. You're not like hyper high alert.
That's what I'm saying.
The things that
She
hang out
could have
near
been.
her.
Why would Shoda
This
not
is
have
not
sent
her. This could be her in disguise.
I know.
There's a million reasons to be like, old John seeming kind of sus right now.
Why? I don't get why you wouldn't just question it a little internally.
Until he does, and then
even when he's feeling uncertain, he doesn't go to, oh, maybe he's lying. He just goes to like, of course he's not lying, but something's weird. Like,
yeah.
Why does this man never even just entertain the thought? If I meet a random person on like a fucking hiking trail locally, and I'm like 0.1 miles in, and they say, hey, come with me, I lost my dog, I'm gonna go.
I'm holding my weapon.
Maybe I'll do it, but maybe they're lying to me to do something bad, let alone if I'm in the Rangshada mountain range, the world is ending, looking for a witch woman who's nearby, okay?
Who is notoriously bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it has to be, the implication has to be that they've been magicked. But if they've been magicked,
then it kind of cuts the meaning of the whole fucking...
But then also, why does Richard just simply have to go, hey?
Well, you see, when 75 spider strands break on Kahlan's face, in her open mouth,
spell.
And it just... Yeah, I don't know.
The magic spell breaks. Okay. So yeah, Richard is like, I'm uncertain. Oh, I want to see Zed. Let me keep going. He asks Kahlan which way Shoda is when they're at the fork. And Shoda says left. Old John's going right. Richard stops at the fork, right? And, metaphor abound.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you think maybe Zed could wait? Like, maybe we could go to Shoda first, and then we'll come hang out with Zed. And old John is like, I don't know, but it seemed really important. I don't know what to tell you. Which, knowing later that, like, his whole shtick was just to get them far in the woods at night to, like, eat them. He didn't go too hard.
No.
He was like,
no.
I don't know. You could leave.
I think that's the sales pitch thing, you know? That's kind of the like, no, I don't care if you come with me. But then it's not
magic, right? Because if it was magic, my man would have been like, no, Richard, Zed really needs you. And the magic would have been like, Zed, I gotta go.
But maybe part of the magic is making them have to pick it, and then that locks it in. You know what I mean? You chose my path on the crossroads.
Do you really think?
Yeah, you can spin it that way. I'm all about, I don't know, crazy rule crossroad magic. I don't know.
So Richard asks how far. Old John says they're going to be to Zed at midday tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Richard is like internally thinking through what Kahlan's inner monologue is, basically.
Yep.
And he's like, Kahlan doesn't want to go to Shoda, and it's not very far, and maybe Zed knows where the boxes are, and if he does, then this would be pointless, so maybe this makes more sense. Okay. But again, no part of us is going, but what about the option where old John's a fucking freak?
What about that?
Nobody brings that up. And then Richard's like, you know what, Kahlan, you're right. And she says, I said nothing. So weird.
She did say nothing. And
she did.
Just keeps looking at her and assuming her mind state.
I could hear your thinking. You're right. We'll go with old John. I didn't know my thoughts were that loud. So.
Oh, that's so cute. They're getting like psychic with each other.
even though they don't have basic conversations, evidently.
No. It's all, through the eyes. Like, that's how you really
So
learn
they
to communicate.
They keep walking. Richard watches her pull a spider web off her face. Something nagged at him. Something was wrong. Okay, obviously we've set up the spider web shtick.
We've done it already. So it's stupid. But
I obviously, like, I'm supposed to be picking up that something's wrong. But, like, Richard intentionally, like, he, like, consciously knows this one trick.
We've seen him do it.
He knows it. It's not it's not something he's going to come up with on the spot for the first time, so he needs some time to figure it out. He already knows it.
Now we get to teleport.
Yeah, so
back to the wonderful nation of millennia.
We have a point of view shift. We're with Rachel under the wayward pine. Little fire set up. She's with the doll. It's mostly just her, like, internal monologue. She misses her brother.
Who is not Brophy.
Who's not Brophy. You're wrong.
But she also misses Brophy.
She also misses Brophy.
Who was kind of like a brother? I don't know.
No, I couldn't tell if Brophy was like a pedophile
right?
or
I don't
a nice
know.
man.
Is it like a I don't know, like a Hunchback of Notre Dame situation?
I don't. Right, exactly. Like,
is he some deformity that, like, everyone's like, oh, don't go near him, but he's nice to kids, and the kids are like, well,
right?
We like
but
him.
Now in this universe, I'm a little suspicious.
I'm reading. I'm like, is it Desmond? Like, Demon? Is it Demon? Is it Demon?
I thought that too.
You did?
I literally did. I was like, is Brophy Demon?
Is Brophy Demon? Yo, it might be.
We're paranoid.
He gave her a doll too.
I know.
I don't know.
Right, because I was like, okay, we've coded giving dolls as bad because killer's bad. So now, since Brophy did, is everyone giving dolls to little girls bad? Well, so basically, you get the idea that she lived in an orphanage before the queen came to pick her up. She misses the orphanage.
They were nice to her there.
Yes, but at the orphanage, a man named Brophy,
great name,
sometimes came. People said mean things about him, but he was nice to the children. So a man named Brophy sometimes came to the orphanage to hang out with the children.
Who he was nice to, but the adults were like, that guy's...
So anyway, he gave her a doll as well, but she had to get rid of it when the queen came to take her away. And she said she didn't care that she had to get rid of the doll because she was too sad that her brother died. People say he got murdered.
Which means he was killed. Or something. Is that to illustrate how young this girl is?
Yes.
That her internal monologue is like, they said he was murdered, but that just means he's dead. It's like she doesn't realize that they're the same thing.
She
or
said,
like,
why do people kill children?
Which is not something a kid says.
It's not.
It's not something a child says. Children don't pontificate on why there are murderers of children. They are children. They don't understand in themselves the horror of killing a kid because they're still a kid.
Right.
They're just like, why does anyone kill anyone? Death is scary in and of itself. Then people killing people is like inconceivable. They're not like, oh, the horrors of a child murderer.
I don't know. I was like, the only thing I can think is like maybe when you're like in a society where like the children are frequently being abused, you have more of this sense of like, adults different class, children different class, we're powerless. You have more like conscious awareness of it.
Sure. Yes.
Right. I think that's what we're trying to do.
But...
I don't know. Everything about it just makes me like roll my eyes. I don't really know why it doesn't work.
Kids don't pontificate out loud about the death of children and
it
why the motivations of it.
Far more like to me it reads very like I'm an out-of-touch old person trying to pretend I'm baby.
Correct.
And it's like, Yeah, I'm confused. So she's thinking about the new little boy the queen had locked up.
God forbid you show us anything, Terry. Why do you do this? You had a whole chapter where nothing happened.
I know.
You could have shown the boy being locked up.
Right, we didn't see that.
We didn't see it. Why
there
are
was
you just
no mention of it?
Shoehorning because you thought it later and you didn't feel like editing the last chapter?
Well, is it Sidon?
I don't know. It might be.
He talked funny and looked funny, but he made her think of her brother because he seemed so afraid. Her brother was always afraid too. I don't know why her brother was always afraid, but I was like, Dark and Raw
drop him off?
But it's for Demon. Is Demon there?
But if Demon's Brophy, then that makes sense.
Oh.
Then it makes sense.
If Demon's Brophy. Is Demon Brophy. Well, I don't know.
Demon equals Brophy.
Well, it would make sense that she would think the boy talked and looked funny because he's a mud person.
He does look funny in comparison.
So I was like,
maybe that's Rachel, but
maybe that's sitting there. Yeah, maybe that's sitting. And
do the mud people even look different? Do we get a description of them as like
I don't know,
darker skin or anything? Do we get that?
Yeah, and they're shorter. So anyway, I wonder if that's sitting because I don't know who the fuck else it is. We don't have that much plot.
I did not even think of that.
We don't have that much plot left to be introducing like a brand new child character, I feel.
I think it's so weird. We are well past the halfway point on this book now. Like we're going downhill. And like the Mordsith have not even been mentioned.
Yes, why would we not have set up? Do you know how hype I would have been to like have had like little drops of like, hope you don't meet them, hope you don't come across them. There's some women in this world you don't want to meet. Like anything. Where I'd be like, ooh, when are they going to show up?
Because the one time he's attempted to do something like that was, I miss Brophy. Who might be Demon.
Yeah, I don't know why there would have been zero foreshadowing for that. Because listen, my knowledge that the Mordsith are coming is what is really keeping me going.
I know.
And if I were a casual reader, perhaps that would also have hooked me a little bit.
I agree. I really do feel like Terry refused to edit and like refused to go back. Like he refused to like change things to make things fit better and do anything like that. So like maybe that's why it's so thorough going through. Like he did it once. And I think he had this idea at the end of the book.
He was like,
he was like, ooh, where do we go next? Ooh, okay. All right. Yeah. I got something good.
I just got an idea. Don't know where it came from.
You could have had 2 or 3 shadow drops of Mordsith conceptually already, and 100%. It would have been so hype.
Wouldn't you have been hype?
But maybe we're not supposed to be hyped from Mordsith.
Why?
I don't know.
No, hype like the same way any villain you'd be hyped for. All bad guys, you're a little hype like, oh no, what's that going to be like when they have to face them?
I don't think Terry thinks that way. I don't think he likes his villains that much.
No, he doesn't.
But he doesn't
know, but he does like the Mordsith. He clearly likes them. They have such...
My wonder is like, did he develop them and then decide he liked them?
Could be.
It's possible.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like, maybe the queen will be nicer when she gets her alliance, whatever that is. Sorry.
What does that mean? Kids don't speak this way.
Well, I know.
Kids don't think this way. They don't talk out loud in the woods this way, certainly. And whatever that is, it's like not. It's
okay, we get it. She's a kid. She doesn't know words. She doesn't know these things.
Yes, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Whatever that is. Kids don't do that. They talk with their full chest as if they knew what it meant.
Exactly.
And then they're wrong frequently.
Right.
This is just whatever that is. Who are you editing for?
Maybe I'll even buy her being like, whenever she gets her alliance and then asking the doll, like, what is an alliance? I don't know.
That would have been fine. It would have been stupid, but it would have been fine.
Anyway,
this is just goof.
She thinks I'm assuming this is the alliance with Dark and Rawl that he's like dangling for the box. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only one that could exist. So, there's no other courts, no other lords, no other kings.
Who the fuck else is she making an alliance
with? It's only Dark and Rawl. He's the only guy in the whole world.
Rachel she's like settling in to go to bed, and she's thinking like, maybe I should run away. I don't know what to do. So then she asks the doll what she should do. What does the doll say?
Help killer. What was that, doll? Help! Killer! And she goes, help, killer? Help! Killer! This doll.
That was so good.
Wow, thank you. Help! Killer!
Okay.
Is it good? I don't know. What is it good? Like, what standard by which it is good?
Like,
Explain that to me.
If I were animating a cartoon of this and you hit me with that audio clip, I'd be like, yeah.
I'd fire me. What do you mean? You say yeah?
I'd say yeah.
Yeah, do it 30 more times until it sounds normal, maybe. You're not putting that in the anime?
I am.
Help! Killer! Like, you're gonna put that in? What are you, crazy?
Some part of my brain, when I'm picturing this scene, like how weird it is, that's exactly what it sounded like.
We should make a fan anime of Wizard's First Rule.
We have a lot of plans we haven't followed through. We haven't even made a fucking soup. We haven't even made soup. Okay.
Spice soup time has come and gone in the Northlands.
To be fair, wasn't our fault. Actually, very sad. We bought all of the ingredients except for this specific type of fucking peppers. You know, it's a spice soup. You need that. We looked in multiple grocery stores. We could not find these freaking peppers.
We got to go to like specialty pepper stores or something.
Well, yeah. So I didn't really want to make it without that because I want it to be spicy.
Of course.
We tried.
You make it without that, Zed's gonna go, not as good as I make it, or whatever. Yeah, so we're back off of Rachel, because that was stupid.
We left.
Back to old John.
We're back here. Oh my god, Richard is again talking about how something feels weird, but I miss Zed. It's the same, like, I mean, he loops that thought.
This is OCD, like, at this
literally,
point.
like, my man's ruminating.
He's
Let's
ruminating,
get him out of it.
Despite being old and fat, old John is booking it.
Right, so like him
woods.
and Kahlan are like, we cannot keep up, we're dying. But then Richard sees something next to him in the trees.
What is that?
Something's following them. It seems
he's been following us for 3 days.
Right, it's so crazy that how we're starting off already utilizing a similar plot point. Fascinating.
Long ass arms. I thought it was a spider immediately because of the spider webs. So I was like, oh, he's like leading us to, because so you were ahead of me while reading it, and she's like, oh, you're not gonna believe like the fucking shit that's coming. And I'm like, is this like a Shelob reference? Are we getting like a big spider? No, it's so much worse.
No, because
so much worse.
You could pull off doing giant spider without me accusing you of plagiarism.
Shelob didn't have too much.
Right, it was just a big spider.
Oh, that is like, I don't know. I could read a million Spider-Woman stories and not be like,
no.
That's
that. I was like, you're really in for some shit.
And I was in so deep, up to my neck.
Yeah,
Scow Swamp
something
territory.
with really long arms seems to be tracking them.
Yep.
So then Richard says that he notices that him and Kahlan have to keep pushing branches out of the way. And they keep walking into spider webs. And then Richard's like, old John is never pushing away a branch. He just is going.
He's just cruising.
No problem. Nothing snagging on him. And then it's like, hey, if he's ahead of us, why are the spiderwebs not breaking? Wow, that's the exact same.
We did this in the beginning
plot
of the book.
Point we've already used. And then finally he's like, oh my god, old John doesn't have footprints.
I didn't even see that. All right, so we don't need more evidence.
we were all like, even without the spider webs and the branches, I was already just like, it's a weird man named Old John.
Doesn't he pass through a branch, like, totally?
Like, he glitches.
He
like
glitches through
game.
it, and he's like,
That's weird.
That seems odd. He's a fat man, so he's bigger than Richard, I assume. And he's not moving at all for branches. And he's not breaking spider webs. Why are we Sherlock Holmesing this until we are absolutely sure he's an apparition? Like, why?
Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock, where it's like
like E equals MC squared, and just be like, oh, the mathematics, and wait, spider webs.
Yeah. So Richard finally figures this out, and he pulls Kahlan back behind him.
He figures it out and just goes yoink. And once again, they have not talked through this whole fucking adventure.
Right. What do you mean?
Him and Kahlan are just not being like, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Like, nothing. They're not.
Well, yeah. You gotta have more questions. Literally, like, is Zed in a house? Is Zed in a city? Is
Where
Zed
are you
camping?
From? How do you know Zed?
Right. Like, I guess we were supposed to be like, well, he chastised him twice, so he was so embarrassed he just stopped speaking.
We're in the scary witch's woods.
Do you know
Zed's
her?
a day away from this? Why is he here?
Well, maybe
what's here?
They think maybe, I don't know, maybe the box is nearby, so Zed also ended up here.
I think in the middle of the woods?
I think I'd be asking old John about Shoda, and like, you see her? You know her? What's going on?
Yeah. Are you afraid of her? Is she actually nicer then? Like, is she like Addie? Is she like, what's going on?
You'd ask a lot of questions.
I'd ask a million, and he doesn't ask any. And at the first, once he has confirmed that old John is sus, he just grabs Kahlan and he rips her behind him and goes, take out the sword. And old John's like, something wrong, buddy?
What is it, boy? See something?
See something.
His voice like the hiss of a snake. Oh, that's gotta be bad. Oh,
yeah,
that's
old John, I see you. I see you, old John. I see you.
Richard says like, oh, why don't you have footprints?
Imagine he explained it away.
He kind of does. He says, old John says friends of wizards have special talents, which maybe.
Friends of wizards have special talents.
Maybe. Right?
Okay. Imagine they just kept going.
I know.
That would
like,
be so Terry Goodkind.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Okay. Richard, like, then he's reflecting. He's like, oh, I said Zed's name before he did.
This is all my fault.
And so then he's like, what's Zed's last name? He didn't know the Zulzarander.
He didn't.
So,
And you're not going to guess that.
No.
Applegate? Zed...
Okay.
Washington?
So once Richard asks for Zed's last name and this man's like, I don't know it, he just hulks out and turns into a monster. I hate Terry's inability to describe creatures.
An impossible nightmare come to life.
What did this... Do you know what this looked like?
Fur and claws and fangs.
Describe to me what he turned into exactly.
What do you mean? Are you kidding me? He turned into a creature of snarl and snap. He turned into a creature of snarl and snap.
Oh. Duh.
Duh.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why can't this man... If you are telling me...
I don't know.
A new creature abound...
Yeah.
What the fuck does it look like, sir? What is it?
I believe it is some inconceivable fey
It's not.
monster.
It's not. They're looking at it. It's not inconceivable. This isn't God. Like you could describe it.
Yeah, creature snarl and snap. I don't know. It was all action and no fucking.
The old man turned his cloak flinging open. He mushroomed to twice his previous size. Okay, I have a height sense.
Okay.
An impossible nightmare came to life. Fur and claws where an old man had been.
Oh, wow.
A creature of snarl and snap. That's all I've got.
Yep.
What should I be picturing? What should I be picturing right now? I have no clue. It could range, like, there's such a huge range.
Well, so I'm on the Sword of Truth wiki right now, and a fandom user asks in 2017, I have a few questions that the book's never made clear.
Yeah, I have some too.
Where did the Calthrop come from, and are there more than one?
No.
Because they never come back.
Don't say that.
Terry Goodkind seems to introduce some creatures in Wizard's First Rule that don't reappear in the
Wow.
rest of the series.
Okay.
I just reread the whole event with old John, and the whole thing seems pointless, or just to introduce Samuel. He also uses the Shinga in the part with Rawl going to the underworld.
Don't even say it.
In Wizard's First Rule, but I don't think we ever hear about them again.
Fuck!
I told you!
This.
This book is full of mythical creatures, and we don't get shit after this. We get like the Sliff, and we get the Dreamwalker, and then it's just different skins of wizards and witches. There's no more magic-ness in the world.
Why would you introduce a whole race of monster right now that you refuse to describe, so I have to go through a whole goddamn scene picturing nothing? Because I can't, because you told me nothing. And then, like, you're not even utilizing it in your world?
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm, like, actually heated.
If I'm writing this book, and I'm writing 12 more, Old John's coming back. Old John's a thing. I've made Old John now.
Well, he doesn't always have to be Old John, but the Calthrop has to exist.
Absolutely. We're doing shape-changing trickster wood eaters, and it's going to happen at some point.
Let me be fair. There's some books that use, like, one-off.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
They're just good, and this is not good.
Correct. Yeah, that's the thing you're missing. The goodness.
Okay, so it roars. Richard looks back. Kahlan is gone. He trips over a root. He tries to stab.
How are we going to do it again? Oh, Kahlan's just gone. He doesn't know where she went
Yeah,
again.
I know. How many fucking times?
How many
man?
times? And would you toss her into next year?
What does that mean?
Because he threw her backwards and she's just gone. How'd you miss the whole thing? Because magic?
Well, because the thing was roaring and turning into a beast, and then I guess Shota just like
warped
in and took her.
Cool.
So he trips over Rudy's on his back. He tries to stab the Calthrop beast, but he can't. And I'm like, what is he, like a hologram? Like a magical one?
That's what I don't understand. Why is this a big monstrous creature that also takes up no space? Because it doesn't break the strands or do all that stuff.
I'm like, maybe he's not...
Is he incorporeal until nighttime? Is that the thing?
I don't think...
But then why would he do this? Is he trying to just scare him into dying?
Well, my thing is, like, I don't even know that why did he have to do all of this? If it's just... Samuel tells us later, it's a Calthrop, whatever that means, and they like to eat people at night. That's when they have their powers. He could have just... Why not... I don't know. I guess they were going to... He was trying to prevent them from getting to Shota, because I'm like, why not just, like, follow them, and then it's nighttime, and then eat them? Why did you have to do all that? Why old John it up? Like, why?
I feel like the implication is it's just some sort of fae thing, where this is what it does.
That would be cute if that was...
Yeah.
If I got any sense of that. I definitely didn't.
Just old John, you know?
He didn't feel magical. There was no, like, description that felt like, I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting that like, I don't know what the word is. You know, when you're like, oh, this feels creepy. This feels fey-like. This feels strange. It's bizarre. No, I just felt like it was a fucking weird old man who's tricking you and he's going to cut your throat.
Into I don't know, a blender of wolf monster.
Just an indescribable whatever. So... Then, okay, tell me what this part meant.
I don't know. I read it again and again, and I was like, what?
Tell me what this
was
part
that?
meant.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Read it off.
The Caltrop looks at something in the woods, right? So suggests later that he's looking at, like, Samuel or Shota or something.
I think he saw Shota. That's my intake there, yeah.
His reaction to this is he picks up a rock twice the size of Richard's head, puts his blunt snout high in the air. Blunt snout? Now I gotta, like, rearrange.
Snarl
what is that?
and snap, but his snout is blunt. So he's like... Like, what?
Because, yeah, when you said snarl and snap...
Snap! I'm thinking alligator-like
correct.
mouth.
I was forced to come up with my own thing. And then... Yes, naturally I pictured a giant jaw. Now you're telling me he has a blunt snout. What the fuck does this look like?
It's like...
Okay, well anyway, he's picking up this giant rock.
Yeah.
Takes a deep breath. And with a roar, squeezes the rock in its claw. And the rock splits with a loud crack that reverberated through the forest. Dust and flakes of rock fill the air. The beast looks about, turns, and runs off. Why did he break the rock? Can you explain it?
I can't. I have no idea why he broke the rock. It's like the equivalent of, like, pocket sand, I think. Like, he's trying to, like, distract people so he can run away.
He's doing, what's the Pokemon move?
Sandblast or one of those. I don't know. Sandstorm?
No, that's the song.
That's not it.
Is
that it? Yeah, it's the Runde Sandstorm or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. What the actual fuck was this?
I don't know. So, yeah,
It meant nothing.
He broke it in his paw? I thought he, like, chewed it.
No. No. With a roar, squeezed the rock in its claw, corded muscles tightened, the rock split with a loud crack.
Imagine he did it in his mouth. All right, so he did it in his hand.
No, because he's got a blunt snout. He can't do it with his mouth.
True. I think
he just picked up a giant boulder and went...
Broke it.
And then left.
And then went, like...
Because I was like...
He, like, broke it and then did the Kevin James, like... And then just sprinted off?
Why did he break the rock?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I was like...
And then 2 seconds later...
Oh, well, we just forget all about him.
Because copyright infringement came.
What the fuck? I was like, is he doing magic? Did he need to do that for a magical spell?
So, like, this didn't need to happen at all. At all. Zero of this needed to happen.
Unless you want to introduce this monster to me for the purposes of the larger story at play, which evidently you didn't need to. Why this detour?
I don't know.
They could have just been walking and Kahlan fucking disappeared. If that's really how you wanted to do it.
This feels like railroading by the author when he didn't need to make the first decision. You know what I mean?
You run this shit, Terry.
Who runs this shit? You. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad you're just as lost though on the boulder. I kept being like, what?
No, I because like read it. It's like he breaks it and then looks around and just runs away. And as far as I'm concerned, he was winning that fight.
Well, not with Shota around.
Does the Rock stop Shota?
I don't think so.
Is she like, I'm a really powerful witch, but if someone breaks a rock like that, I gotta give him respect and let him go?
I got no clue. Anyway.
Shota will kill you dead, but if you're strong and you show her that, she's like, all right, you're cool. I'll let you live.
Okay. So Richard's looking around. He's like, what was he looking at? Where's Kahlan? He's looking around. Then suddenly
Richard says, what the fuck happened? Because I don't know. And then
something jumps out and attacks Richard. Long ashen arms. And it's bulging yellow eyes.
No way.
Yep.
Okay.
And it is trying to grab the sword from Richard, and it hits us with its favorite catchphrase.
Is it, that's mine, mine own, my precious?
No, it's really close, though.
Oh, okay. Interesting that they deviated from that. So what was the line that Terry chose to use?
Improve upon that, you know? So he's...
it's a bit older. Like, Tolkien wrote a long time ago, so maybe, like, the vernacular has improved. Maybe, like, you can get across that even simpler. Like, maybe there's better terms you could use instead of my precious. So tell me, what did Samuel say?
Samuel says, my sword, gimme my sword, gimme gimme give me
my sword, gimme my sword. That's the quote. My sword, gimme my sword.
I am actually fucking aghast. I'm aghast.
So the implication is that this creature who bears no resemblance to Sméagol, for legal purposes, dove onto Richard looking exactly like Sméagol. And acting exactly like Sméagol.
Right. Yeah.
And trying to kill Frodo Sam, who is now Richard. Because he just will act exactly like both Frodo and Sam towards Samuel, Sméagol, Samgol. My sword, gimme my sword. Yo,
I am embarrassed. I feel like I just walked in on Terry taking a shit is what I feel like I just saw.
Yeah.
I just walked in on this man farting in the bathroom. Like, what? I shouldn't have seen this.
Sticking up the place.
Yeah, don't show me that, Terry. That's embarrassing.
No, because
don't write that.
Because shitting and farting is a natural process.
You have to do it.
You have to do it. We all do it. We all know we do it. We do not all rip off one of the most recognizable, detestable entities in fiction. Like carbon copy. Like, I took Lord of the Rings and I put the fucking copy paper under the page and just traced it all out and then wrote mine. What are you, fucking nuts, Terry? What are you, crazy? You bastard? What are you, fucking stupid?
Whoa, we're really mad about this. We've been waiting to get it out because we couldn't talk about it. I really am livid. I'm quite livid. The descriptions just keep coming. He has some sinewy fingers. Pallid skin.
Bloodless white lips.
Hairless waxy head with splotches on it. Big yellow eyes. And an exposed spine down the back.
Yeah, with rigid vertebrae.
Right,
sticking out.
that's wild how much it looks like him. So
looks like him, acts like him, is him.
Like, even just like the mechanic of why he is psychologically the way he is, why he behaves the way he is, identical.
I can't hold it because it just keeps getting worse too as we go, and every single bit that is just pulled from Lord of the Rings is like so deeply just like, might as well.
I guess it is also
might as fucking well
extra insulting. Like, if you really love Lord of the Rings, which we do, it's like our that's it, peak number one. And then to see somebody like taking it, what is so like beautiful, poetic, and just like masterful, and then take it and like terrify it.
Oh, it's
really upsetting.
And this motherfucker said, "I don't write fantasy." Well, then get your fucking grubby hands out of the pot, you bitch.
Get out of here. You're not allowed in here. Get your own ideas then, buddy. Like, come on.
He gave us the Calthra. Don't say that about our man. Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired of this.
Okay.
We're not even halfway. Oh, we're halfway, but just barely.
Okay, so Richard pulls his knife out and puts it up to its neck. There's a really iconic scene, actually, in Lord of the Rings where that happens. And then there's, in fact, like, I'm not even referencing the movies, like, art that's been done of Lord of the Rings. Like, that's, like, one of the most famous scenes depicted, actually.
Of their interaction.
Of their interaction is Frodo, after getting attacked, putting it up to Gollum's neck.
So, yeah.
Please, it howled. It howled. Wow, this one does that too. No kill, no kill. Please, no kill me.
Sméagol is good.
I'm tempted.
I'm just like, I'm doing it.
I'm like so tempted to pull the two towers down and like try to find it. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Here we are. Yep.
Okay. So the two towers. I found the scene that Gollum officially comes upon Sam and Frodo.
Okay. Give it to us.
So, he actually jumps on Sam initially. So Gollum actually like falls off a cliff. And then Sam jumps out to go after him. And before Gollum could get up, Sam was on top of him. But he found Gollum more than he bargained for, even taken like that, suddenly off his guard after a fall. And when Richard and Samuel are fighting, he consistently says that
he's stronger.
He's so strong. How could he be so strong? He's so much stronger than he looks. Okay.
Yeah.
Before Sam could get a hold, long legs and arms were wound round him, pinning his arms in a clinging grip, soft but horribly strong. He was squeezing him like slowly tightening cords. Clammy fingers were feeling for his throat, then sharp teeth bit into his shoulder. All he could do was to butt his hard round head sideways into the creature's face. Gollum hissed and spat, but he did not let go. Things would have gone ill with Sam if he had been alone, but Frodo sprang up and drew Sting from its sheath. With his left hand, he drew back Gollum's head by its thin, lank hair, stretching its long neck and forcing his pale, venomous eyes to stare at the sky. Gorgeous.
Wow.
Unlike
beautiful description.
Anything I read in this book so far. And you know what? It's really unfair to compare an author to Tolkien, but you are forcing me to do this.
I would
right
never,
now.
on your first fantasy book, be like, it's not Tolkien. I would never do that.
But guess what?
But
now we have
steal
to.
from Tolkien.
Now we must. Let go, Gollum, he said. This is Sting. You have seen it before, once upon a time. Let go, or you'll feel it. This time, I'll cut your throat. Gollum collapsed and went as loose as wet string. Sam got up, fingering his shoulder. His eyes smoldered with anger, but he could not avenge himself. His miserable enemy lay groveling on the stones, whimpering, "Don't hurt us. Don't let them hurt us, precious. They won't hurt us, will they? Nice little hobbitses. We didn't mean no harm. But they jumps on us like cats on poor mices they did, precious. And we're so lonely, Gollum. We'll be nice to them, very nice, if they'll be nice to us, won't we? Yes, yes." "What's to be done with it?" says Sam. "Tie it up so it can't come sneaking after us no more, I say. But that would kill us. Cruel little hobbit says, tie him up, whatever. Okay, well, that's going to happen too. I just want to... Okay.
Yep.
So Richard pulls his knife and puts it to its neck, and it says, please, no kill, no kill. Please, no kill me. That is literally just like the
same scene.
The same scene.
Done
the
worse.
Same exact
Done goofy.
thing. Creature behaving the same way, looking the same way, speaking the same way,
acting,
saying the same. It's the same dynamic happening.
It's the same creature too, with the same
backstory.
And the creature is the way it is because of the same reason. Because
you have a magical item that the creature had that he shouldn't have had because the power overtook him and it's okay. How? Come on. How are you going to do that all together and then be bad at it?
That's the key, isn't it? That's
no,
the
it's
key.
not. I even if you did it good, I would be kind of like, why not just come up with something a little different, just a little bit?
I think by doing it good, you would have had to have come up with something a little different. You know, you could homage it. I'm not saying you can't touch it, but you just fucking took it.
You need to be making. Expanding upon it. It needs to come across like you felt inspired by it. It needs to come across like you see what was so intense about it, and instead it just feels like I'd love to like strip this down to the most boring elements and use it.
Because
I don't know why
Tolkien's not here anymore, so it's mine. You're a fucking punk.
Okay, all right.
No, that's how I feel.
I do think I am a little worried. I feel like
what?
Because it's hard because like we got Terry fans over here, obviously, because who the fuck else is going to listen to this many hours?
No, and the thing is, these books become very different from this first book over time. He does his own thing eventually, but this is egregious.
This is a bad moment for my man.
This is a dark stain that will never come off.
Okay, wow. So Richard asks where old John went, and basically Samuel's like, it's a Calthrop. I'm not friends with him. He just wanted to eat you.
I don't even know him.
Yeah. He says, like, I was just following you, hoping that you would die and I could take my sword back.
Yeah.
In which he says...
Yep.
He says, gimme please.
Yeah.
And Richard says, no. And he says, mistress has the pretty lady. We were watching you to see what would happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess she can like see everything going on in the woods. The mistress obviously showed up.
Yep.
Richard says, why did she take the pretty lady? And then he says, I don't know, maybe to play with her, maybe to kill her, maybe to get you. So then Richard puts the rope on its neck to make it walk him to the place he needs to go.
Direct.
That's exactly what happens.
Fucking thing. Except the noose in Lord of the Rings was a magical elven rope, which hurt people that were trying to hurt you and had poetry, and this is just a fucking rope.
Right, so
it's the same thing. We're doing the same thing, but worse.
So, whatever. He's like, you have to take me to Shoda. I'll kill you if you don't. He gives Samuel Kahlan's bag, and then Samuel starts going through it, and Richard's like, stop doing that.
Yeah. I guess Terry's attempt to make him slightly different from Sméagol was to make him try and steal anything.
Everything, yeah.
Because he just wants to possess stuff.
Richard tries to figure out what sort of creature Samuel is. There is something familiar and unsettling about him. I'm pretty sure, like, obviously a far better description is done in Lord of the Rings, but I'm, like, very sure that this exact thought process goes through their minds where they're like, what is Gollum? Is, like...
You were not very different from a hobbit once, weren't you?
There you go. Samuel walked in a waddle, muttering over and over that he didn't want to be cooked. That is exactly how Sméagol acts.
Yep.
The one difference, instead of the loincloth, Samuel wears short pants held up by straps. That's not a better image. Why did you do that?
He's actually wearing jorts.
He's wearing short shorts and
Samuel's
suspenders.
wearing Tim's and a wide brim hat.
Like, what is he in this outfit for? His feet were disproportionately large, like his hands and arms. He had a big round belly, and he was hairless and pale. I'm assuming his attempt to make, like, the feet goofy, big. But then I'm like, but Gollum's a hobbit, so he also had weirdly big feet.
Take a look at Gollum. He has big goofy feet. He does. They're too big.
Yeah, they are too big.
That's just a ripoff. He's gangly, he's pallid, and he has goofy feet and big stupid eyes to see in the dark. Because he's been in the dark for hundreds of years.
I was just going to say,
unlike Samuel, who's been hanging out in a beautiful grove.
Shodas, you're like, I mean, it's like a gorgeous sunny landscape. I'm assuming he like lives in a dungeon or something.
What? I'll say when we get there. I think that I think it's illusory how beautiful Shoda's abode is.
Okay, that makes sense.
But also, whatever.
Okay, is my girl, whatever, she's probably magicked her beauty on.
And her big boobies.
She sat there in like the Sims creator. Yeah. She was like...
playing with the sliders. Yeah. Yeah, and just went...
Bring those up.
Oh, yeah.
Samuel would occasionally snap up a rock or stick and say, "Mine, gimme."
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Go ahead, Samuel.
Do it, Samuel.
Go get it, Sammy.
Yeah, I guess the logic is that he wants the sword so bad that now he has devolved to such a point that any object... I don't know.
He just desires everything.
You know what? I don't feel like working with you on this one, Terry, because I'm mad.
And you named him Samuel, too.
Which is weird. Why did you do that?
Sméagol Samuel.
Also Sam.
It's like, we're just like drunk one night, and you're like, I'll do that.
It feels sort of like word association. Like he just like stream of conscious was like... that he was like, I don't know, my brain said Samuel. I don't know why.
It's brilliant. Like, I'm publishing it.
I know why you had that association in your brain.
Yeah, huh?
One for one.
They waddle around for a while. Samuel lets Richard know that Mistress is not afraid of the Seeker, which probably not. It seems like no one is at this point.
On the way, Richard does think like, oh, we definitely wouldn't have been able to figure out how the fuck to get here if this hadn't happened. Which then Richard feels bad because they're like in a snowy part of the mountains, and he gives Samuel Kahlan's cloak to wear, to which Samuel says, "Mine, gimme."
Gimme.
And then Richard's like, if you're gonna be like that, I won't let you wear it. And they do
this like 4 times.
Yeah, where he's like, "Oh, please." And then Richard's like, maybe I should give him some food. And then he's like, "Give me it." And then he's like, "What do you have to say, Samuel?" And Samuel says, "Please." And he gives it to him. Yeah, I think we're like trying to mimic the way Samwise Gamgee behaves with Gollum.
Harsh, but also somewhat kind, and tries to like...
Well, it's like, yeah, like you said, we
him.
mixed Frodo, and Sam's the one that keeps getting mad at him.
Sam's
and then Frodo,
bad cop, Frodo's good cop.
And now Richard's just
the ring, because he has the empathy of the ring. And now we're going to have to, at some point, deal with I know the sword's magic does make you kind of feel crazy and like Gollum, you know?
I'm so curious if it is going to have an empathetic tone. Because Lord of the Rings really does, like Frodo.
This will not.
I know. I feel like Richard's going to be like, and that's how you can see that only the best and the most righteous should take power, and these fools need to leave it alone. I don't feel bad for him.
Rise up and live it. You know what I mean?
Don't know if that's how it's going to be, but
it is. I guarantee it.
Richard keeps thinking about how gross he is, which, like, when you read, like, this is, like, again, just the bad version of what happens
in Lord of
the Rings, the internal monologues going on there. And like Richard knew if given the chance, Samuel would slit his throat without a second thought. He seemed to be a creature devoid of any redeeming qualities. I think that's like almost, it's not word for word because it's bad, but it's like conceptually just identical to thoughts that are in the Two Towers.
It's true.
So yes, then they reach the wooded area where it gets very hot. Richard like can't see because it's dark, but like Samuel can, and he's running around. I love his yellow eyes shone like twin lanterns.
Oh my god!
In which I looked up some descriptions of Gollum.
It's literally when they see him in the cave with the Gandalf speech,
where his eyes are described as lamp-like and large and luminous. Yep. So that's crazy.
Yeah,
how that happened. Lamp-like twin lanterns. Lamp-like lanterns. Wow.
I desperately need a chapter to feel like I want to be able to do this podcast feeling lighthearted and not angry anymore. I'm tired of being angry at Terry.
See, I was like a little frustrated with certain ones where I just didn't like them. This like actually makes me angry, which is I haven't really actually felt pissed
quicker to this feeling, I think, than you.
Again, it's just like don't fuck with Lord of the Rings for me. That's how I feel.
Don't come for the king.
Do it. Don't do it.
You might miss.
You might. You did. You did. Okay, what was this part? Do you know what I'm about to say?
Give it to me.
Are we on the same wavelength like we were with the boulder? Do you have something similar?
Is this about the stick thing?
The tree?
Yeah, so I was, and then I think I thought of something. So go into it, and then let's see.
At some point, they're walking through this hot, dark woods.
Yeah.
Samuel goes behind a tree with a fat trunk and twisted roots. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You don't have any thoughts about this?
Tell me.
Richard asks what he's doing. He doesn't answer. He takes a stick, throws it at the roots of the tree.
Yep.
Which whip out, take the stick, pull it under, and it like starts like cracking it apart. Samuel laughs. That's it. They just leave. So I don't know why. So why did that? Let's ignore Lord of the Rings for a minute. Why did that happen?
Well, we can't ignore Lord of the Rings then, because that's Old Man Willow.
That's what, yes, exactly. Yeah. And then I was like, is old John supposed to be like giving Tom Bombadil?
I thought that too, yeah.
Yeah, which it didn't, but
no!
It didn't at all. But okay, but no, we have to ignore Lord of the Rings. Let's pretend he's not copying Lord of the Rings.
Then it means nothing.
Well, then why did that happen for?
It's just him being like, these woods are dangerous, and you would have gotten killed if you didn't have old Sméagol with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we could have done... I needed more then.
Why didn't he just fucking lead him into it?
Well, because Shota wants to talk to him, I guess.
Then why didn't Shota say, hey...
That's what... Okay, yes,
come on down to the valley.
Either Shota doesn't care about Richard, in which case, I don't know, he wants the sword so bad.
I don't understand.
Kill Richard.
Was she like, if you can kill him, you can have the sword?
Then that would have been a great opportunity, right? Why did we do the trick? Let Richard die.
Why are we letting him come back? Why are we leading him there?
If the reason he needs to lead him there is because Shota wants to see him, why did she just take Kahlan? I guess, but that was to... No, because even Samuel says, he's like, maybe she took Kahlan to get to you. Well, just take him.
Take him.
Like, what?
He was bamboozled by the creature of Snarl and Snap. You could have just scooped him up.
I don't know.
You scooped her up. Why didn't you just take him? Why don't you magic him away?
Or because she wants Kahlan and doesn't care about Richard, but then Samuel should just fucking kill Richard and get the sword. Gimme.
Also, there's something weirdly inelegant, because when they're going back to the woods, he sees two sets of footprints, and he's like, oh, Kahlan's been through here. Like, I know she's still alive.
But so they didn't magic?
I'm like, so they walked back?
Did Shota walk there?
Shota just walked
grab
in,
her,
tapped her on the head like Mother Goose, and was like,
come
follow me.
Come on. Yeah, because I guess you're right. I was imagining that Shota just magicked into the woods, grabbed Kahlan, and magicked back.
No, they walked and followed.
And they couldn't have gotten that far ahead. They only had like a max 10-15 minute headway, right?
Yeah.
Because they just like wrestle around and then they start going. So they should have run into them at some point. Well, how have they been hanging out at the palace?
I guess we don't know how long. Maybe they got down there like 20 minutes before them. Started the snake journey. I don't know.
I don't understand this at all.
Nope.
And, okay, so yeah, I don't understand, first of all, why Samuel wouldn't just allow Richard to die there, get his sword, be done with it. But it just is Lord of the Rings again.
Yep.
So why did he do that? Like, like you're trying to like because here's the thing. Old Man Willow and Gollum are unrelated. They don't show up at the same time.
No.
They're in different books. Like, why even bring it up?
I don't know. I really don't know. And then we're basically getting Rivendell. So, like, I
don't know if it's Rivendell. I'm picturing more like, I'm literally picturing like Meridell, the Neopet city.
Okay, well, that's not in my brain as a reference point. So
The medieval.
I think Meridell was probably referencing.
No, Meridell's not referencing Rivendell.
What is Meridell? Is it like
It's
castle or what?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the medieval land in Neopets.
Huh.
They just have a big castle with like flags on it. That's why I thought of it.
Okay. I guess
it's like a mixture of Meridell and fairy.
Fairytopia.
Is that what is it called?
I don't fucking know.
The fairy town. It's a mixture of Meridell and Fairyland, is what I think.
Okay.
I don't picture it being as like natural and like Art Nouveau. I'm picturing more like I don't know, like classic storybook. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure. I want to read the descriptions again because I
definitely didn't write it down, so my bad.
Neither did I.
Well, a little bit, but
yeah, same.
So they finally come upon a long valley, bright and green.
I think what I meant was the beauty of the valley itself and the naturalness of everything, because there were streams and cathedral trees.
I feel like the elven beauty, the elven like nature is a very particular.
You're right. That's
thing
true.
To me.
I think maybe
is more.
He was not capable of writing it.
I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
So they're looking over this big valley. It sounds very beautiful. They're next to a waterfall, which I was like, is that the waterfall on the cover? Is that where they are?
Oh.
Right? I thought
that fits.
Yeah.
I guess.
Maybe when they're leaving.
Maybe we're in the Reach or something, or we're leaving the Reach. I don't know.
So they go through like a labyrinth of bushes and whatever, and they find a trail that brings them down into the valley. It really does. It sounds very lovely. Again, Tari's great at this. Just fucking write books talking about like camping. I don't know. In the middle of this valley, there's a beautiful palace. It has delicate spires with bridges between them, colorful flags and streamers. Right? I'm picturing like Ren Fair a little.
Yeah, it's feeling a little Ren Fair.
But like prettier.
Yeah.
And more like I said, like storybook, like little kids storybook, beautiful palace.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I like. So.
Yeah.
Like that. Richard says it's the most beautiful place he's ever seen. They end up in a woods clearing. I was really trying to picture this. There's a woman sitting on a rock with water bubbling up from a spring in the center of the rock.
Which is like classic, like just
like King
Arcana.
Arthur.
Yeah, King Arthur, Tarot. Like it's just...
Sure. Yeah, right.
The font that springs from the rock.
Well, I'd like to think about that a bit once we get more into this
and away from Samuel,
Please take me away. And she's wearing a long white dress. She has soft brown hair.
Something familiar about her.
The long white dress and the long brown hair
We've done this before.
We have done this before.
We've done this before.
This connection.
Yeah.
And so
it's there.
She's running her fingers through the water. And then like a little bit away from her, he sees Kahlan and she's like standing really stiff. And there was something odd about her, and it looked like something was moving on her.
Mm-hmm. It did look like something was moving on her. And you're not going to love this one, and I'm just going to throw it out there, but the Hot Woods was described as being like Scow Swamp.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
So now that we get here and we see Kahlan covered in something, Terry can't stop. He is literally incapable. This is OCD writing at this point.
What do you mean? What are you
Double
saying?
up. Oh, I'm bringing something back. Oh, I'm referencing my own self. Just let it be a surprise. Just let it be.
Well, okay, when I read it seems like Scow Swamp, I didn't say, oh, Kahlan's going to be covered in snakes.
No, but what does Scow Swamp mean to you?
Snakes.
Scary snakes.
Snakes.
Yeah. And here we go. Kahlan's covered in snakes.
To be fair, we were just complaining he doesn't foreshadow enough.
Is that foreshadowing? I don't know. That's just talking about a place where a thing is that you're going to give me again.
So Richard unties Samuel. He walks over to Kahlan.
I wish he never would.
She's covered in snakes.
Yep.
She's crying.
And then...
What?
And then...
What?
And then we get...
What?
Lauren, do you
What?
do you feel like these snakes
What?
had a little bit of
What?
a sexual edge to them?
No!
Lauren, do you feel like these snakes, in some way, shape, or form, represented, I don't know, bondage and domination?
Oh my god. Why were the snakes so horny?
The snakes were so horny.
Why was it so horny? I was like...
All this makes me do is want to know more about Shota. Write a whole series about Shota at this point.
Yeah.
She's bound up. She got the pythons around her midsection. She got the wiry snakes in her hair.
There's so many things. It's like the way it's described has a very erotic tone.
Yes, it does.
I would say just the like bondage of it all. Immediately you're a little bit like, okay, we keep taking this pretty lady and we're gonna be like, oh, she's like stuck and okay, like there's like one part where they're talking and like they're describing the snakes like slithering around her body, and one of the snakes falls into her.
No, it dangles in front of her eyes.
Yes.
Flicks its tongue and then goes directly into her shirt.
In between her boobs. And then it says she opened her eyes wide at what the snake was doing in her shirt. She bit her bottom lip hard and her eyebrows wrinkled together. I'm really sorry. That is...
Terry, were you trying to write fear? Because I think you actually maybe missed it.
Like, my brain's like...
It's just on her nipple? Like,
I don't know.
It's just squeezing her boob? Like, what's happening
I get that,
here?
like, he has plausible deniability to be like, oh, I just meant, like, it's creepy to have a snake in your shirt.
Opened her eyes wide at what the snake was doing in her shirt.
What's it doing?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
like, that's what I'm
maybe
saying.
that one. She bit her bottom lip hard. You don't do that in fear.
Like,
I
don't want to...
You're like, oh! No, it's hard. You bit it hard.
It's very...
Her eyebrows wrinkled together. Like, what? Come on. Listen, I'm here for doing it to her. Tie her up and flick the snakes at her all day, but you're not owning it.
He's not owning it.
You do not own this shit.
That's always my...
And that is the worst bit.
Right.
If Kahlan was... if you were trotting her out every 10 minutes and putting her in the worst damsel-y situations because you were like, it's fun.
What a damsel moment, really.
This is and it's so manufactured and so stupid. And he's going to be like, it didn't mean anything. It wasn't anything.
Yeah, I really struggle with this thing that people do in life and in art.
Give it to me.
I don't like it. Granted, we can't know for sure that Terry wasn't owning this, but if I had to guess based on the way it's written and the way he speaks about his work, of his work,
and his divorce of BDSM themes and all of that. So he doesn't believe he's doing it.
Well, I don't know if he either doesn't believe it or he does believe it, but for some reason publicly
sure, that's
chooses to deny it. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
It feels to me like, yeah, I don't like when people are clearly sticking their hand in a certain box and then also want to like go, no, I didn't. It's like, just go. It's okay to go in there if you want to explore that. And it will come out so much better if you acknowledge
that you did
that
it
you're
intentionally.
doing it.
Yeah.
Sticking your hand in there and then going, ew, no, feels weird. And this has a lot of that for me, just the book in general.
Yep.
This to me feels like almost like pulp erotic. Like it's pulpy.
Yes, agreed.
In how, like, the type of horniness it's evoking. And I love that, actually.
Correct.
Like, I love pulpy...
Pulp eroticism is fun.
Exactly. So, like...
if you think it's fun. when
So
you're
now
writing it.
I'm wanting to be like, ooh, fun. Are we doing that? And there's always some part of the writing or something that makes me think, no, he's trying to like actually play it straight and go like, I'm not doing pulp eroticism. No, I'm not. It's like, yeah, you are though.
#1 bestseller probably for these reasons.
Yeah, exactly though. That's how we get Duchess Zumholtz fan. That's how he got here.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, in some ways you're like, yeah, Terry, like him, we got that one Instagram account that's just like Kara and like Kahlan fighting each other all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like perchance that
no.
these people are popping up with these feelings towards the characters and the scenarios.
Not at all. No,
It's the fact that you are in fact writing into your work things that elicit that feeling from people.
This is a book and series with deep running themes of intense sexual activities. Intense, like, you're dealing with things like BDSM, and like you're doing it a lot.
Uh-huh.
And you're kind of just saying, no, I'm not, but like the theme of domination, bondage, mental and physical and spiritual and magical servitude is in almost every book.
Yeah.
You didn't have to write about those things. You wanted to.
And I get the argument. Like, I get how it's like not everything that deals with the power dynamic or like certain parts has a sexual tone. Not to compare him to Tolkien again, but again, he asked for it this time.
He did. Lay it on him.
What I'll say is like, that book is kind of devoid of sexuality in a lot of ways. That's true. It really, and like, clearly we have Frodo tying Gollum up. We have all sorts of things that like realistically on paper, you're like, aren't these the same? And it's like, yeah, but I don't know. When I read that, I do not get a sense that that's what we're exploring. I actually am taking them at face value. I don't have a feeling about it. I don't think the way you're writing it brings that to mind. I've got nothing of this sort going on in my head. So that's how I know it's not totally just me. It's not like every single thing I read, I'm being like, oh, look, that's horny.
You don't see a ton of Sam and Gollum erotica.
Not a ton. Some, but not a ton. But that's just
that is just simply natural due to the popularity volume
for sure.
of it. Yeah,
no, it's definitely
that's going to happen
for sure. The only thing people are talking about over there is they're just like, I want Aragorn and Legolas to have sex, and you're like, well,
or Sam and Frodo to be boyfriends.
Understandable. It's different though. It's so fucking different. I can't even begin. And honestly, 90% of that is just Orlando Bloom and Viggo Mortensen, so we could throw that away. Anyway,
I'd like to see it.
Right, everybody would like to see it. So this is so different. I'm like, the way you write it,
yep,
gives me a weird feeling.
Yes, it's because this man, Tolkien, was a master, and he gave you exactly what he intended.
Right. If he wanted it to be horny, it would, and he would have owned it. He didn't want it to be, and therefore it was not.
Because it what it was and what it came out of and what it...
That wasn't the point. That wasn't what we were exploring.
No. It was good versus evil. It was, titanic forces at play, and it wasn't a story of individual lusts.
It just had nothing to do with it.
And if it was there, you'd feel it. Okay, I mean, when I read that, it made me feel a certain way, because I think you were feeling a certain way when you wrote it. Because it has a certain something to it.
All right, I don't see, like, I'm not going to go that far. I don't know, like, that terror. I'm not even trying to accuse him of sitting there going like, ha 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 ha.
No,
like, it's not like that. No, that's not really what I'm implying.
It's not like he snuck it in.
I don't think he, like, literally sat there and was like, I'm jacking off to Kahlan covered in snakes. But, like, I mean, you could, but I don't think that's what he was doing. Necessarily, maybe, but not necessarily. It's not what I'm trying to get across.
Sure.
Is that I think that. It's just that the way he describes things, the types of activities and the way the people are bad and the way they engage with one another. it just feels psychosexual. I don't know how else to say it. It just feels like something is coming up that has a really erotic edge to it.
So I think I now get what you're saying. I don't think Terry intentionally wrote those things to be evocative, or even knowingly. He wrote it from a place of like, this is what I like, or this is what I want to get across.
No.
But I think that...
No, but that's the problem. It would be better if he did.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's
it would
the
be
problem.
better if he, in fact, did do that.
Correct.
I'm kind of like, if you are convinced that you are not attempting to explore thoughts like that, then I want it to come across more Tolkien-esque, where I'm like, yeah, I see that. You didn't want to do it, and you didn't do it.
This feels like someone who says they didn't want to do it.
But then did it.
But did it.
Right. And then, or I want you to be like, no, I'm doing that because, like, hey, do we think maybe that's sexy? Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Let's infuse the story with that energy. Yeah. And if you're, like, consciously doing that, again, that will also be good.
I agree.
Because that will be fun and interesting.
Yes.
This is where I take issue of, like, it is kind of, it feels like there's inherently a cognitive dissonance. So I can't really go in either direction. I can't lean into like, great, don't have to think about that. We're not doing that right now. And I also can't lean into like, ooh, that's a little sexy, because you have this reservation about it where you're not leaning into it.
Correct.
So now I'm stuck it just makes you horny and it makes you feel bad about it. Which is not fun.
It's not fun. Nobody wants that.
Don't make me picture cute little Kahlan going like, oh, I'm covered in snakes. And then also be like, freak. Yeah. You know, and that's kind of what it feels like.
Because Richard's the arbiter of that. He's like pointing the sort of truth out of the book at you, being like, don't get off, she's scared.
Yeah,
and it's like,
kind of like,
yeah, but you wrote her really horny, kind of. I don't know.
You're making me think about the snake wriggling in her boobs, and she's making a cute face. Okay.
The snake didn't need to do that. The snake could have been anywhere else. It could have been around her neck, and she'd be like, I can't breathe. And that, like, you could eroticize that.
But like,
it would be like, that's more scary. So I understand there's like is that your thing? Then you might eroticize it, but it's not the text. The text here is the snake's playing around in her boobs, and she's going, and I'm supposed to go, well, that's bad of the snake.
That's totally neutral.
That's terrible of the snake to be doing. Does he? Well, he doesn't know. He's a snake. And I felt nothing.
Yeah. Like,
what am I getting out of it? What am I getting out of all this description?
Yeah. It felt horny.
So I can't wait for Mord Sith and the rest of this weird psychosexual like deluge that's coming, because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of that coming up.
Well, Richard's big helpful advice is, Kahlan, hold on, just think about something else. What? I guess.
Yeah, she's telling him like, just leave me, I'm wrapped in snakes, I'm dying. And then he's like, no, just think about anything but snakes.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
So then he walks up to the woman on the water rock.
Scooby-Doo to be continued.
And she says his name. And he says, that sounds familiar. And then he says, oh my God, I recognize her. Did we peek at the first sentence of the next chapter? I think we both did.
Mom?
Mommy?
Mom?
Mommy?
Is it me mom?
Dressed exactly like Kahlan.
Oedipal.
Yeah, so like they're...
Yeah.
Right, but again, psychosexual. That's the
100%,
theme. That's like, these things are happening.
Yeah, it almost feels like he's like aware of some of them. Like I think he thinks he's a genius, and it's like you're just you're just writing down so his idea of the chapter was like, we're gonna have them in the mountains, and we're gonna have a fake like Fey monster's gonna lead him astray, and he's gonna be nothing. He's gonna run away. He's gonna break a rock, and then Gollum's gonna show up, and he's gonna tussle around with Richard, and then Richard's gonna Sam. He's gonna put the noose on him, and they're gonna walk all the way through the crazy woods, and then we're gonna bring him down, and then it's his mom, dressed in white, and then Kahlan. Listen, I'm gonna wrap her up in some snakes. Why would you have a woman that is the object of your lust, and then you're going to present his mother dressed like her?
Yeah.
while she is covered in snakes. This sounds like a sexual dream Terry had. Like this is just like
some sort of like bizarro hentai plot or something.
My wife was there and she was covered in snakes and the snakes were rubbing her boobs. And then my
mom
mom was there dressed like my wife, and I knew she was bad, and then Gollum was there. And he said, gimme my sword. And my sword, was the sword of the snakes? I don't know.
I'm seeing that.
With the fountainous rock, we got a lot.
Yeah, the rock's coming all over the place.
The rock is nutting. Yeah.
Oh my god. And it's like
in front of a beautiful storybook castle.
It's kind of vaginal too, the rock, right? It's like
definitely.
it's not man coming.
No,
it's woman.
It's gushing. The rock.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Come from a stone.
This is just too much. I really needed to like separate this into like me exploring the Kahlan mommy problems we were dealing with, and then also raging about Gollum, because those feel really different.
Oh yeah.
They feel really different.
I know. All right. Well, that's the end of chapter 30, and I am happy to leave it in the past, but Samuel's not dead yet, so I can't rest. Yo, if he falls in a mountain or something, or a fucking volcano, I'm gonna fucking... The sword was forged in the fires of Mount... Bad. Volcano of disaster. It's where the sword of truth was forged.
How are we feeling now? At the end of all things.
Slightly less malicious and rageful, but only slightly.
Why slightly less?
Because I've gotten some of it out.
Okay. Yeah.
This is plagiarism. It's not really, it wasn't fun plagiarism. It wasn't, I wish he ripped off something else that I didn't love. He did it for a dumb reason.
I know, that's the thing, is like, it's not even like, can it really be thematically relevant? And the only way in which it will be thematically relevant is also a copy.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a commentary upon, again, the power of the sword.
I'm thinking, though, the Icewind Dale trilogy by R.A. Salvatore, I read when I was in high school as well, or even junior high. And there was the first book in that trilogy is The Crystal Shard. Mm-hmm. And there is a magical shard that's bad, and Regis the Halfling gets it, and he kind of gets corrupted. And it didn't feel this egregious.
That's
somehow.
Crazy as wild.
You know what I mean? Like, it leaned in even harder with the same tropes.
Right.
And it still felt like he was trying to do something a little different.
Yeah. This is just annoying. The way he did it was very annoying to me.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to do our shout out for the day. Okay. Our shout out of the day, TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
But he also has an Instagram. But he's following us on TikTok.
Hey.
Peyton is our shout out of the day.
Peyton.
TikTok at IceChewer1. Instagram at IceChewer21.
Holy shit, that's some variation right there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Peyton, I'm giving you the shout out. So, you do always like our stuff. Like, literally, I think every single clip I post, you like.
Much love.
We love that.
Yeah.
Don't even know if you're a listener, but I'm giving the shout out because he does really good art.
Yeah.
That's primarily
absolutely.
Because I obviously have been following on the account, and like when they pop up, I don't know, should I show?
I don't know. You might be
Can
able to
do that.
Yeah, you can try. It's not gonna look like anything.
I don't know. Can you
maybe.
guys see? Maybe. Anyway, it's really, really good. And the videos are like drawing process videos.
That's very cool. We love that.
Yeah, so they like show you from start to end what they look like. But the art's legitimately just
it's fire.
very
It's
good.
like comic book quality.
So really, I don't know. I'm just giving you a shout out because you like all our stuff, and that's very nice. And then you commented, I think, when we did our episode at the bookstore, and you were like, "I wish I could go, but I don't live there." And I was like, "That's
I remember that.
Needlessly nice. You don't have to go, especially if you're not local."
Yeah.
And I'm just incredibly impressed by all of the fantasy artwork that you do.
Thanks. Like, honestly, thank you for being here and showing up.
Thanks for being another
also,
hella talented.
Yeah, exactly that.
Person
like
who
we
listens
have
to us.
these Terry fans are crushing it in the personal
right
production department, and yeah, I love that. I love the art. As a very minor artist myself, you really got a talent.
Yeah,
so
crushing it. So we love that.
we love it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really sorry. I just do want to apologize to people who are listening, who I know everybody has affection and likes the series to varying degrees. I know some of you are listening, not because you hate it, but because you're also like critical of it. And yeah, I don't know. We just have complicated feelings. I can't make the podcast and come on here and lie when I'm angry.
What would be the point? We're here to express.
Hopefully it's interesting despite you guys enjoying Terry perhaps a little bit more than we have currently. Maybe we will. I think we do find things that we like pretty frequently.
Yeah.
And maybe as the series continues, it will. I've seen some people say like it does get significantly better. I think it gets significantly better from Wizard's First Rule to like the next couple of books, but then I know also a lot of people's opinion is that then it also gets significantly worse for much further in.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. But listen, you can't tell me this was not egregious. And despite all the things that we like and dislike about it, this was silly.
It was silly. I don't.
Sméagol was a joke.
Sméagol.
Sméagol should never have happened, and
never.
And I hope it never happens again.
Yeah.
But
so that's
it.
That's where we'll leave it for this week.
We're signing off, and
we're gonna see.
Yeah.
What? Oh, we're gonna see Mommy next week.
Yes. Big Sorcerer Milkers. Finally.
Thanks for tuning in as always.
We love you guys. We're happy you're here. If you disagree, come fight me. It's fine.
Show me your muscles.
Oh, my muscles? All right. That wasn't terrible.
Okay. All right.
That was terrible.
We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.